Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show with your hosts Lee Silber and Ellen Goodwin.
Welcome to another episode of the Faster, Easier, Better show. I'm your co-host Ellen Goodwin, along with my co-host
Lee Silber.
Hey Lee. Today
the only reason I'm here is because you're holding me accountable.
That's right.
Surfing.
Yeah, podcasts don't get made unless we're both here. Well, here being,
yeah,
we're both in our own offices. But I want to start with a little story about accountability. And a few years ago, I was putting together a workshop, and I was having trouble getting it done. There's like so many good distractions, so many things I could be doing other than sitting down and working on the workshop. And so what I did is I went and talked to my neighbor, and I told her what I needed to get done and how it had to be done and when it needed to be done by. And I asked her to hold me accountable, and that I would have to show up at her house like 10 days later with the whole workshop planned out so she could read it. And then I made my accountability a little bit harder. And I picked a political party that I did not believe in. And I picked an amount of money that I really didn't want to give up. And I put that money in an envelope that I had addressed to that political party, and I stamped it and I gave it to my neighbor. And I told her if I didn't have my workshop information done at the time it was supposed to be done, her job was to mail that envelope with money I didn't want to give up to an organization I didn't want to give up. Now that is an example of hardcore accountability. Something you don't have to do every day, but you know what? I got that workshop done on time. It was great, and I didn't get distracted. So accountability, let's talk.
What's your problem with the Green Party? What did they ever do to you? Oh, I'm just kidding. Years ago, I started something called Goal Stars, and not gold, but goal. And we would meet every other week, and you would have a partner for the 2-week period, and you would talk about what you plan to do. You would exchange your list of what you said you would do with them, and they would keep in contact with you throughout the 2-week period, and you would change partners. So it was kind of fun. You got to meet and work with new people, but they were always there to hold you accountable. That club was so successful that people had set these goals and achieved them and then moved on. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not what I'd hoped for. You had success and now you're leaving, but it was 2 years. The club lasts for 2 years. And I was my most productive during that time. And I have to say that you don't need a Gold Stars club to have an accountability partner, to pick someone. You have social media now. We didn't have social media back then. Now you have social media. You can post, I'm going to do this, put it out there, and people will hold you accountable. If you tweet it, you post it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you use, and say, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to finish the book. I'm going to get this business off the ground. Whatever it is, trust me. People love to just pick, get, they're like, now you said they're going to start that business, Lee. How's that going? Well, I'll tell you how it's going. I launched it just yesterday. How about that, huh?
Exactly. Accountability. Yep. Accountability works. I'll be running a 21-day accountability challenge starting in January. And accountability is how we get things done. One of the people I know and have talked with, and they're over in Europe, and they have started an app, which is an accountability app, and it's called Objektiv. And I'll put it in the show notes. But one of the things that they do with this app is similar to the story I told you. You put money behind yourself. You say you're going to do something, you put money here into the app saying, if I don't get it done, this money goes away. And I think that's a great way to get things done. Having people to talk to, like your group, that sounds outstanding. The original Weight Watchers. Think about Weight Watchers. When it first started, you would go to weekly meetings and then you would get weighed And you would know right away whether you hit your objective, your goal for the week or not. Now, luckily, you got weighed in private. It wasn't like you stepped on a scale in front of everyone, but there was that accountability. And that was a lot of their success because you went each week and you had other people that were working towards the same goal and you held each other accountable.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people remember Joe Namath as the quarterback that said, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And everyone said, really? Because you're the Jets. And he said it. And you know what? They won the Super Bowl. This a long time ago, 1969. But that's what people remember about him, that he made such a bold statement. And then everyone, was accountable to him because he said it. I'm sure his team was like, what are you doing, buddy? You're killing us here. But you hear that a lot where in sports, accountability is huge. You're accountable to your coaches. You're accountable to the fans. You're accountable to the team and the owner and the shield of the NFL, whatever it is. That kind of accountability forces you to perform at a higher level. So I think what we're talking about here can drive you to greater greats. You could be great. You could be Joe Namath. Great.
You can be Joe Namath. Just become accountable. And it doesn't have to be a huge deal. It can be as simple as telling someone, I will be there and I will do this. And they hold you accountable. Or you can join a group. Or you can be the 1969 Jets. It's your choice. Thanks for being here. Be with us again next week for another episode of the Faster, Easier, Better Show.